Okay, so here's the summary. Today I have another Bayonetta 3 weapon guide, and it's going to be on Rodin and Devil Rodin. Unlocked after beating Rodin once in Devil's Duel, the Rodin is a very flexible weapon that can handle many situations. As always, if you enjoy my type of content and want to see more of it, remember to leave a like and subscribe as it helps my channel grow, and I am very close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. And with that, let's get started. So, first of all, as you may know, the Rodin in both this game and Bayonetta 2 is all of the Bayonetta 2 angelic and infernal enemy arms or weapons put together into a moveset. So, the main thing to understand is that, like I said, this weapon is very flexible. So, if the first combo, the standard punch combo, is that, and the first new thing about this weapon is that since it has a demon masquerade form, there are now wicked weaves to incorporate with your combos. Pressing punch will have you do a forward weave punch after a combo, and kick will have you do an uppercut. Anyways, so the basic idea with this weapon is that first, the demon swords, those can actually be charged up. Which can deal more damage. Pause punch will have you do that scythe move. However, the problem with this move is that it's a bit slow, and it's kind of hard to hit, especially if you're around a bunch of enemies, so just be cautious. But the good news is that the scythe also has another move, this uppercut move. So you can definitely utilize this for aerial combat. 2 punches to pause for a punch will have you do that double spinning scythe boomerang attack, which when targeted by an enemy, it's a multi-hit, but it doesn't do that much damage, so it's not exactly that reliable in that sense. 1 punch to 3. 1 punch to pause to 3. Kicks will have you shoot some arrows. If you're playing Bayonetta 2, this would be a great. It would make for a great ranged move, but the gun attack for this weapon already solves that, as you just do the kind of same thing as before, only you don't have to do a punch and are limited to just 3 attacks. And the charge will just have you do a really big amount, a bigger attack. Then for you have the hammer, which is actually pretty strong. So you can definitely have that be a damage dealer. If you do that punch, kick, punch, you will do the demon gun, which has a bit of a lengthy startup, but it has pretty good damage. 2 punches to 2 kicks, you will do the Urbane Flame Gauntlets, which also can be a good combo tool. And of course, if you do the spaced version, you will do the ice gauntlet attack. And I'm hoping, let's see if I hope it works like I think it is. So this can be a very good freezing tool since it has the ice element. And I wonder if this also works for bigger enemies. Okay, so it does. That is really, really useful. Doesn't freeze for as long, but definitely useful in a pinch. So basically, any enemy, you can freeze most enemies except for enemies like Cumulonimbus, Tuba, and Virga, to name a few. But still, a pretty good tool just for certain situations. Then for the, let's see, regular kicks, you'll do the angel swords. And kick space kick will have you do the enrapture staff. This move is rather unique because essentially when it was introduced in Bayonetta 2, this was actually a really good way to get magic really fast. But the thing about this game is that since magic just sort of regenerates passively, there's no real reason to use it. So it will give you health and magic, but like there's not really any kind of use for it since those two things can be achieved pretty easily from drops. Let's see. You saw that this weapon now has an afterburner kick and a witch twist. So that's some of the newer additions to this weapon in this game, having more combo flexibility. Forward punch, you will kick some pain wheels forward, and done in the air is actually faster. So definitely, this is definitely worth using as an aerial combo since the startup time is much faster. Then for forward kick, you'll do a shield bump, which is just a good like get off me option. Definitely a nice quick attack. Here's the back punch, back kick, which actually, it's interesting how this weapon deals the back punch and back kick moves kind of in reverse to other weapons. So if you look at Color My World, that's more grounded and kick is more aerial. So in this sense, it's in reverse. Back to forward punch, you will do some sloth sword slashes. However, I don't think that this is a multi-hit. So it's just one big hit that has a bit of a startup to it. Nothing special. Then for back to forward kick, you will slam a feather sword, that's what I'm going to call it, into the ground. And if you're really far away from an enemy, let's see, it will actually go to the enemy. So that's a neat little thing, neat little attack that you can do. Let's see what happens if I do it in the air. Oops. So it also does hit in the air. Definitely worth using. I bumped my microphone a little bit. But probably the best move for this weapon are these circle attacks. The Resentment Whip and this move, the Compassion Lance. Circle B is probably its best AoE move since it has like stupid range. Let's see if I'm standing here. Definitely has some good range to it, but it's not like absolutely stupid like Outstanding Touch, where you can just so that's about as big of range as it's gonna get. Definitely pretty good, but it's not like stupid like Outstanding Touch. Assuming I can input it right. Actually, the range on this thing, on them, are pretty similar, so it's not that big of a difference. But still, very, very good move, especially for multi-hits. The circle gun weapon, the circle gun move, you will shoot a laser, and you can hold it down for a longer, for more damage. So you can definitely see why this weapon is really, really good, just because it has so many different moves for so many different situations. And yeah, that's the weapon. Now for Devil Rodin. So, just like with... So most of Rodin's weapons are pretty standard. The only difference with this demon... Let me... So, first of all of Rodin's moves can be charged. That's his punches. There's his kicks. Gun, he shoots a laser. Jump is just regular jump. And if you hold down the jump button, he will float in the air. For aerial kick, he does a slam like that. This can also be achieved with a back to forward kick. Back to forward punch has that charge attack. Then that's an interesting one. Back to forward gun, he will just do a block, which I'm not really sure when that would be useful, as his circle gun is just way better. his circle punch can be extended. So you can just be a swirling fortress of destruction if you want. And his kick is an aerial. And for his special, you'll do a dance with him, which is pretty cool. However, there's just one catch to this. If you don't have the Conqueror's Reign accessory equipped, you will actually turn down Rodin's dance request and he will start attacking you. Well, wait. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. If you don't have the Conqueror's Reign accessory equipped and he gets hit too many times and you try to do that move, you will turn down his request. That's what I was trying to say. And this is probably the only demon that has an afterburner kick and witch twist. So that is also a really cool addition. There's also a special input where you can do his grab move, but I'm not exactly so sure how that works. This isn't really an advanced guide, it's just going over the basics. So, what can you do? Yeah, so that about covers everything I can talk about with the Rodin Weapon. Super flexible, lots of new additions, can incorporate Wicked Weaves. Just a really nice upgraded version. If you're playing Rodin in the second game, this is going to be your shoot button, but in this game, just use the gun button. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next guide. Later!